All right, so welcome back. Start Gonna move on here with part four. Last part three was the priming and then putting some white on for the black and white technique. So in this video, I'll carry on with the paint and see how it turns out. Also, bear with me. The beginning of my last video, there's this nice wood plank opening that was supposed to have a title on it, and I goofed it up. I'm still working with new software since Windows Movie Maker is not available anymore. So I'm learning a new thing. So bear with me. It's not going to be perfect. So, just weird stuff happens. So let's get on with the painting. All right, so I've got the white on here. Again, I'm just experimenting. Somebody might look at this and say, you put that on there wrong, whatever. I'm just experimenting, see how it works. So I've got my Tamiya XF62 that I'm using for the color. It's already in my brush. And since I'm spraying just a solid color, I'm not having to worry about anything too weird. I'm just going to use my single action here. So let's get cracking here. Okay, so this effect right here I have achieved looks an awful lot like my previous kit. I sprayed it solid with the XF62, and then I lightened it a little bit with some XF60, I believe, which is dark yellow, and I got kind of a highlighted effect like this. So this is an effective way to do it, and it prevents having to mix any paints, which I don't have a problem mixing paints, but some people don't like it. So this is one way to get around it, I think. That's annoying. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of color modulation going on here. So what do I think? It looks pretty good. And you want to be careful that whenever you're spraying this, you're not getting all crazy and blowing too much paint on, because you'll mess up the, you want to keep it somewhat translucent, but yet not have a really harsh white outline. But you don't want to get a lot of overspray that messes up the effect. Now, if your lighter outline is a little harsh, remember it's going to be somewhat lessened as you weather the vehicle. So that's what we got right now. I kind of like it. I think that's something I could work with. So I'm going to go ahead and work on this. I won't keep spraying and I won't bore you with more. But that's what it looks like so far. So I'll get this painted up, come back. Alright, so here it is with the black and white technique. I don't know if I did it right, but turned out pretty cool, I think. It's got some nice, you know, tonal business going on there. I really like it. Oh, forgot to spray it into the barrel. I'll have to fix that. But it looks good. I like the way it turned out. So next thing I'll do is I will start painting the details after I glue the this back on there. That's just wonderful. Anyway, I start painting the details, the wheels, or the tire portion of the wheels, the tool handles, stuff like that. So I'm going to paint all that up, and then it'll be ready for a clear coat. And a lot of people say, you don't need a clear coat, blah, blah. Well, for doing washes, I just find that a gloss clear coat of some kind just makes the washes flow a lot better. I found that whenever I try and do like a pin wash, it just leaches out into all this flat paint. It just spreads, and it kind of gives it a cool effect, but it's not the effect I'm wanting. So I find that clear coat will help alleviate that. Plus, you know, again, a lot of people don't think it's necessary, but I like a gloss coat for decals. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put those, I'm going to put a clear coat on there, but first the details. Alright, I'm going to do a clear coat on this, and before I do that, I just want to take a look at the results of the black and white technique with XF62 olive drab over top. It actually turned out better than I thought it would. You can also see, you might be able to see it after I get the clear coat on it, but the texture on the turret turned out pretty nice. I like that. So anyway, that is the deal. So I'm going to get my future here. Got a little bottle of it. Found a good use for the Vallejo primer bottles. Once I empty them, they're good for other stuff. So get a little bit of this in here. And see what we can do. I was going to use Tester's Model Master clear acrylic, but it was solid as a rock, so that ain't gonna happen. Just dry it up in the bottle. Okay, let that dry a little bit. We'll do this part here. Sorry guys, keep hitting my camera mount. A jerk. So I'm going to do that, get that all painted up, and then come back and see what we got. Alright, the clear coat is on, and I'm going to let that cure up a little bit, and then I'm going to paint the tires, the rubber portion of the wheels, and the handles of the tools. And once I do that, I can actually start weathering. So I'm going to set this aside, and I'm probably going to think about painting up these tracks here pretty soon. Probably shoot some primer on them, let them cure up a bit, and then I will start weathering those as well. So while this is curing up, I'm going to go ahead and prime these and come back once that's completed. Okay, so I have some a wash mixed up, and I'm using my new, already used it once, but I'm using it again, 502 Abteilung Black. I'm using that for a wash. Mix them up, and as you can see in, well, hopefully you can see in here, this is, well, that's a little weird, that's a piece of fuzz. Hopefully you can see, but there is no grittiness or anything in here. Just really smooth stuff. Now, I've already done one part here, so I'm not showing anybody anything they don't already know, okay? But I'm showing why I do the clear coat, because you touch that on there and the stuff just zings around. Wow, I'm shaking like crazy. I need another cup of coffee. It just leaches right around those lines, really outlines it nicely. Oh, see, like that. Man, excuse the stinking shaking, people. See, just, man, it just shoots across there like nobody's business. I'm really digging this stuff. Now, I just can't get these results unless I put a clear coat on here, a gloss clear coat. I just, like I said, using it on to me, I should have left a portion. Well, no, there's not really anything left. Well, right here might do it. See, it just kind of blooms. It doesn't, it's not really a good indicator, but just like even there, it kind of blooms and spreads out and soaks up. It just doesn't seem to, see that? It goes in, but it just soaks into the rough texture of the flat Tamiya paints. That's why I wish they made these colors in gloss. I would use those for my base coats, because I flat coat them at the end anyway. But anyway, that's that. So anyway, that was just an example. Before I get too far on this, I'm going to put my decals on, because last time I got so stoked to use this stuff that I forgot my decals until after the fact. Yeah, brilliant, eh? But hey, it happens. You get all excited with a new product or something, and that's what happens. So let's see, right in here in those bolt recesses there, it just really sticks. Now, whenever I did this on my last, on that M4 early that I did, to me a 1/35 scale, I did not put a clear coat on, and man, it doesn't define the detail as well. I know there's a lot of people that don't think that a clear coat is necessary, but I'm a clear coat kind of guy. I've tried it without, and I just don't get the results I want. So if you don't like clear coats, don't use them by any means, but I find that they work better for me. Okay, it just works. And Future, I know a lot of people poo-poo Future. It's like, oh, that's dumb, it's floor stuff. Yeah, well, you know, there's a lot of products that can be used that aren't model specific, and you know, it just I like it. It works, and it's cheap, and it lasts forever because it's a really big bottle. See, man, look at that. It's just flowing like crazy. Man, I'm stoked. I am as they say in Southern California, stoked. Alright, so I'm going to do a few more spots here, and then I'm going to shut down and change over to, what do you call those things? Decals. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to show you real quick how well this stuff works. And again, I'm not telling anybody something, I'm not telling, for some of you, I'm not telling you something you don't already know, but for some of my beginner people, this might be helpful to show how well this stuff works. So anyway, that is that. I'm going to shut down here, change over to decal mode, and we'll start applying some decals. Alright, so I've got the decals on, as you can see, and what I had to do is, for this decal here, it was way too big. I think they're out of scale. It was way too big to fit on the side of the tank here. So I used dry transfer there and then used the decals, and they worked fine. They actually look pretty good. They're pretty thin. So once I get a clear coat on here, now see, they really work nice on here after I put the Solvaset on. So really digging it. So everything's all dried up, so I'm going to use some of this Model Master Acryl flat clear acrylic with some Ultimate Airbrush Thinner for the first time, and spray a flat coat on. So I'm going to mix some up and come back. Okay, so the flat coat has been sprayed and it worked fine. So it dulled it down pretty good. It kind of toned down the starkness of the colors too. I don't know if it's actually supposed to do that, but it did. And looks pretty good. So I'm going to end the video here with this, because the next part will be the actual weathering process, and I'll get going on that. So as always, thanks for joining me here on Plastic Models by a Regular Dude. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below, and stay tuned for the next part.